This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. And like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Now let's get on to it, man. Kobe Bean Bryant. See, this is what Hino's Sport was talking about. LeBron James is not the standard bearer or the trendsetter of basketball. It's either Michael Jordan or Kobe Bean Bryant. NBA peers understand that when they're going through arduous situations, when they're facing situations where it's tough for them, not only from a basketball standpoint, but from a consultation standpoint, they lean on Michael Jeffrey Jordan and they lean on Kobe Bean Bryant. In this case, Draymond Green and him leaning on Kobe Bean Bryant. He basically came to Kobe Bryant about the dirty label. And he was asking Kobe that question, how did you deal with the dirty label? This was him being interviewed by Kerry Champion. And Draymond and Kobe Bryant told Draymond Green, he said, Dray, I never gave a fuck if they understood me because I knew I was onto something bigger than they could even understand. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me? And hear me? Wow. That shit gave me fucking goosebumps, dog. Dray, I never gave a fuck if they understood me because I knew I was onto something bigger than they could even understand. That terminology that Kobe Bryant gave Draymond Green, Hino's Sport understands that because Hino's Sport has to deal with that dichotomy each and every single day that Hino's Sport steps onto a YouTube platform or anytime Hino's Sport's likeness or brand or whatever. Because it's like blue magic, dog. The brand is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like Kellogg's. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you name it. It is what it is, dog. It's like brands out there, McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? The Sprints of the world. It's a brand. The Hino's Sport brand is a brand. It's an actual brand. So I understand Kobe Bryant in every sense of the word that he said. And the number 3 of confirmation, because I have to say this again. Dray, I never give a fuck if they understood me because I knew I was onto something bigger than they could even understand. Because what Kobe Bryant was trying to get Draymond Green to see, but Draymond Green didn't see it because he's still short-sighted, was you have to do you, man. It doesn't matter what the detractors say. Hino's Sport gets status reports from i.e. Reject Robbins of the world and all of these people on a daily basis, or as much as they possibly can. Hey, look at where I'm at. Look at what I'm doing. Hino's Sport doesn't give a flying fuck. Because like Kobe Bryant said, and Hino's Sport will say it, I never gave a fuck I never gave a fuck if they understood me because I knew I was onto something bigger than they could even understand. The Hino's Sport platform is onto bigger shit. Hino's Sport is not a regular cat, nor does he think regular, nor does he reside in regular realms. We're doing all kinds of things here because we're always pushing the buttons of being standard bearers and trendsetters in all aspects. Do you know how many platforms, do you know how many people emulate Hino's Sport on a day-to-day basis? If I have to keep track of this shit, I would go fucking weird if I have to keep track of this shit. I see motherfuckers. I know. I get status reports. The Hino's Sport birdies report back. Yo, he knows, man. They're taking your terminology for, topics. They're adding in, because nobody was saying boxing talk or basketball talk until Hino's Sport bringing you that heat and that fire and keeping a foot on the what on the next. And keeping a foot on the what on the next came out. All of a sudden, all these podcasts then came out. Come on, man. Do the math. All of a sudden, people are using StreamYard like nobody's business. Who was the one that was really pushing the narrative and pushing the thumb and pushing the needle on StreamYard? See, this is what I'm talking about. It's okay. When you're a true alpha extraordinaire governed by true alpha economics, people are going to emulate you because it's greatness personification. And greatness personification can only be hindered. It can't be stopped. Let me say it again. Greatness personification can only be hindered. It can't be stopped. But for the real ones, the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets, basketball streets, or life streets that have reached out and said, Hino's Sport, I have emulated the things that you've done. I have taken jewels from what you said. That's a real one. Because they understand it's greatness personification. And it's okay to emulate greatness personification because it makes you therefore and thereby greatness personification. But for those that's jacking and for those that's swagger jacking but not giving acknowledgement, you will have your time because vengeance is not of mine, dog. Vengeance belongs to the Lord, dog. Let me say it again. Vengeance is not mine. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. So if you plagiarizing, which is therefore a form of flattery, you also are going to pay the piper on that. Not from me. Vengeance is of the Lord, so he'll deal with your ass. But the bottom line is this, in the context of what we're talking about. Kobe Bryant spoke to me, and I understood the full gravity and the full weight of what he said. But Draymond didn't get it, because if Draymond would have got this message that Kobe gave him in 2016, you wouldn't have seen him have the epic fall that he had with Kevin Durant. That wouldn't have happened. And see, that's the problem when people don't get the message. Because when they don't get the message, they tend to do Rudy Poo and Plum Plum Brain. Classic Doden Troglodyte, ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric stuff. If Draymond Green really wanted to showcase that he got the message, then he would have just fell his ass up under Kobe all the way through and through. But he went to LRMR. So he went to LeBron Tardisms. That school. That's why you saw he didn't really basically follow the full inaction and the full variation of what Kobe Bean Bryant was talking about. And because of that, Draymond Green is exactly where he's at. Because you could tell when somebody follows exactly to the T what you're talking about. Because the actions will correspond thereafter. And his actions didn't. So this is one of the very many examples of someone that has gotten that Kobe Bryant wisdom and didn't maximize the wisdom thereof. That's where Draymond Green was short-sighted. But I appreciate Draymond Green for coming out with the testimony, because it only confirmed what He Knows the Sport always knew all along. That when it's all said and done, the standard bearers and the trendsetters of basketball, just like the standard bearer and the trendsetter of YouTube, is Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bryant, just like He Knows the Sport. Because people see something in them, just like they see in He Knows the Sport, that makes all of the sense in the damn world. Because they understand that that's the standard. That's the mark. That's the bar that I'm trying to attain when it comes to excellence. Because real recognizes real, and real understands what excellence is all about. They understand what greatness personification is all about. That's what Kobe Bryant represented. That's why Draymond Green seeked him out diligently. Because you seek out greatness personification diligently. Let me say it again. You seek out the greatness personification diligently. This is what NBA players are doing with Michael Jordan. But notice, no one's ever seeking out LeBron James for these types of things, because they understand what He Knows the Sport always understood about LeBron James. He's a guffa folk, greatest finals failure of all time. And he just won a least path of resistance NBA title, a fraudulent fluky on the spot NBA title. But I got to give Draymond Green credit, because Draymond Green got the message. And Draymond Green will continue to get the message. And the message is as simple as this. I don't give a fuck, Dre, if they don't understand me. Because I knew I was on to something bigger than they could ever even understand. You see, when someone is on a path of greatness and they're on a path that people can't get, people won't get the message until it's already too late. Because they're not on that wavelength. Remember, it's lonely at the top. There's a reason why that cardinal terminology is used. It's because in our actuality, it is lonely at the fucking top. And really what Kobe Bryant was trying to tell Draymond Green is, don't focus on the outside noise. Focus on what you got going on. And if Draymond would have took that message completely and basically inherited that message 100%, then Draymond Green wouldn't have had the issue that he had with Kevin Durant. But clearly he got a short-sightedness of the message. Clearly he didn't understand the totality of the message. And because of that, Draymond Green's in the current predicament that he's in. Because when you get a Kobe Bryant level message, you're not going to settle for a LeBron James message. It's like the Charles Barkley commercial. Anything less than a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan tutelage is unfucking civilized. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. I keeps the foot on the what? On the next. But Draymond Green, in this instance, you get the salute of the damn day, because you confirm what a He Knows the Sport and everyone that prescribed to the Kobe Bryant way of basketball was all about. They understood that when it's all said and done, the peers seek out Michael Jeffrey Jordan and they seek out Kobe Bean Bryant. They never seek out no LeBron, LaFraud, James. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat true fashion. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.